Chapter 23, page 451, Success Through Communication. Learning objectives. As a result of successfully completing this chapter, readers will be able to 1. Explain why central service technicians must use effective communication and human relations skills. 2. Define the term professionalism. List traits of professional central service technicians and describe their fundamental beliefs and behaviors. 3. Describe behaviors that can impact success on the job. 4. Use basic tactics of effective communication in the workplace. 5. Practice procedures to enhance and maintain effective working relationships. 6. Discuss tactics to improve teamwork. 7. Define the term diversity and explain why it is important. 8. Practice basic customer service skills and utilize tactics to appropriately handle customer complaints. And finally, 9. Review common workplace communication issues. Introduction. Page 452. The responsibilities of central service technicians relate directly to the health and well-being of patients. CS technicians must have the knowledge and skills to address the sophisticated concepts addressed in this technical manual. However, they must also interact with other people in their department and in other departments within the facility, as well as vendors, suppliers, and others. To do so requires the consistent use of communication and the human resources skills. As a CS department where all employees demonstrate professionalism and utilize effective communication skills is an ideal setting that can be accomplished if each CS technician adopts the behaviors and practices outlined in this chapter. Need for effective communication and human relations skills. CS technicians, like all other healthcare professionals, must have effective skills, effective interpersonal skills. Effective communication is one dimension of interpersonal skills because it allows a person to understand someone else's needs and interests. Human relations skills are also important because they enable people to use the information gained from communication to interact effectively with others. Communication is the process of transmitting information from one person to another by use of words and nonverbal expressions such as body language. The concept of human relations involves the development and maintenance of effective interpersonal between two people or people relationships that enhance teamwork and help ensure a positive work environment. Many communication and human relations principles are applicable on the job, and most can be used off the job as well. While people are unique in many respects, they also share many commonalities, which may include specific needs, wants, and desires, all of which help form a framework for human relations. The use of appropriate communication and human relations skills is important whenever people interact. Human interaction is critical in the CS department. The world of healthcare is very labor intensive. Machines do not replace the need for human judgment and skills as CS technicians undertake their job responsibilities. CS technicians must work with their peers and department supervisors and managers. They also must represent their department as they interact formally and informally with staff members in other departments throughout the facility. CS technicians may also come in contact with patients, their families, and visitors to the facility, including those conducting business with department managers. See Figure 23.1. Regardless of the situation, effective communication and solid human relations skills are a must. These days, when healthcare organizations face public scrutiny, the need for effective communication and the application of appropriate human relations skills continues even when not on the job. What one says and does not say, and what one does and does not do, reflects on the individual. All healthcare employees, including CS technicians, reflect not only on themselves, but also on their employer and their off-work words and actions. Common communication barriers. How often do communication problems occur and what causes them? Interestingly, communication problems happen all too frequently. Even when everyone speaks the same language, common communication errors can lead to errors, frustrations, and strained relationships. For example, questions that can be interpreted different, such as, "Can you come to work early? What time is early?" Requests that are vague. Imagine a new technician getting a call to send up the old instrument that Dr. Smith used to use. Which instrument? Answers that do not provide adequate or detailed information. Surgery asks how long until a tray is ready, and the response is, "It's in the sterilizer." For how long? Is the cycle ending or just beginning? The use of jargon impedes good communication. Check the biological on the loners and get them to 8. The TF has moved to first. Is this jargon one that a new employee would understand? While use of basic communication principles discussed in this chapter will not resolve all communication problems, it will help address many of them. Definitions. Communication. The process of transmitting information and understanding from one person to another by use of words and nonverbal expressions such as body language. Human relations. The development and maintenance of effective interpersonal between people, relationships that enhance teamwork. Jargon. Specialized words or phrases known only by people working in a position. Some people can easily understand details of inspecting and assembling complex surgical instruments and can apply specialized skills to operate sophisticated sterilization equipment, but they may have difficulty interacting with others. Proper use of communication and human relations skills is important for the success of all CS technicians in the healthcare facilities. Fortunately, these principles can be learned and are easily applied on the job. The ability to do so is a characteristic of professional CS technicians. I'm going to read the chart on page 453, Professional Central Service Technicians. Have a positive attitude and take pride in themselves and the important work they do. Possess the knowledge and skills required to be proficient. Demonstrate respect for policies and procedures. Are alert to the need for ongoing improvement. Contribute 100%, give it their all to help their team meet its goals. Are genuinely interested in others, helping others. Know, attain, and even exceed their facility's quality and quantity standards. Are competent communicators. Practice appropriate human relations skills. Respect their supervisors and peers. Are creative. Follow high ethical and moral standards. Are self-confident. Are courteous to their coworkers and all others with whom they have contact. Admit mistakes and learn from them. And follow appropriate personal hygiene and dress standards. Central service technicians are professionals. A professional is a person working in an occupation that requires extensive knowledge and skills to be successful. A profession involves memberships limited to those with the education and experience in a specialized body of knowledge. Membership is usually controlled by licensing, registration, and/or certification. This definition certainly applies to CS professionals. More about professionalism. Professionals are proud of themselves and the work they do. They tackle their job effectively and efficiently and try to improve their profession in the process. A professional goes the extra mile, is part of a team, tries to put forth the best possible effort to meet the facility's and the department's goals, and is truly interested in what is best for their fellow employees and patients. Professional CS technicians know what their manager expects of them and strive to consistently meet those expectations. They are effective communicators and are courteous and concerned about the problems encountered by other staff members. Job success is affected by how well employees get along with their supervisor. Ideally, both parties will demonstrate mutual respect and understanding. Still, friction can sometimes occur. When this happens, it becomes even more important to develop and maintain and improve relationships. CS technicians should recognize that the boss may not be their friend or buddy. A professional relationship will address job tasks and human relation concerns. Those who obtain promotions and pay raises and most quickly attain career goals often enjoy the respect of their peers and supervisors. This respect is most likely experienced when an employee cooperates, is dependable and ambitious, and is willing to work hard to become successful. Employees who believe that one or more of these considerations are not being provided should discuss the situation with their supervisor. Professionals want to help the team become the best it can be. By working towards solutions, a professional CS technician help improve the department. I'm going to read the chart highlighted in blue at the top of page 454. What should central service technicians expect from their employer? All staff members should expect the following: a job description that outlines expectations of their position, safe working conditions, training to meet job standards, and then additional training to maintain performance and possibly advance to more responsible positions, an environment that values and fosters teamwork, an explanation of all applicable policies, rules, and regulations, and a fair evaluation of their work. Now to moral, legal, and ethical considerations. CS technicians must follow a professional code of behavior that includes moral, legal, and ethical aspects of responsibility. Moral behavior relates to basic principles about what is right and wrong. Patients who enter the hospital entrust their lives to the staff. CS technicians must honor this trust. They must carry out their duties in compliance with each detail and procedural step. They accept responsibility to follow work schedules, maintain good attendance, and follow established policies and procedures in the best interest of patient care. Professional CS technicians utilize resources wisely. They also do not question or ridicule a patient's religious beliefs or personal possessions. They care for and protect patients' property, including valuables, clothing, religious, and sentimental items. CS professionals also respect the beliefs and rights of their coworkers. They do not promote gossip or conduct that negatively impacts their department's best interests. They recognize their responsibility to preserve personal values and beliefs, and they do not engage in activities that will violate personal, moral, or religious beliefs. Legal behavior is determined by the authority of laws, and one must never overstep the limitations of these responsibilities. Laws protect staff as well as patients. Staff are expected to perform job duties in the way they have been taught. They do not perform duties that have been designated for or assigned to a licensed or registered professional. They pay attention to details, follow step of written procedures and instructions, and maintain thorough records and documentation. Ethical behavior relates to what is right and wrong relative to the standards of conduct for a profession. Ethical conduct is required of CS technicians at all times. However, the difference between what is right and wrong can be viewed from different perspectives. Consider the following. A CS technician knows that another staff member regularly beats the system by arriving late and leaving early. A friend takes care of the time clock. Both this employee and the friend spend a lot of time in unproductive work while on the clock. That technician may assume it's none of my business. However, this situation not only affects the facility, but can also result in suspension or even termination of employment. CS technicians must not have an "it's none of my business" attitude. They must remember they are professionals and conduct themselves accordingly. How does one decide if a proposed action is ethical? Answering the following questions may be helpful. Is the proposed action legal? Does the proposed action hurt anyone, or could it? Is the proposed action fair? Am I being honest as I undertake the proposed action? Can I live with myself if I do what I'm considering? What if everyone did it? What are the consequences of my actions? Would I want my actions to become public knowledge? Each day, CS technicians are faced with situations that require them to make moral, legal, and ethical decisions. Understanding what is right and the ramifications of what is wrong can make those decisions easier. Basics of communication. Some employees cannot effectively express their thoughts to coworkers. Others are distracted when someone speaks to them. The first concern relates to speaking, and the second involves listening. These are examples of obstacles that create communication breakdowns and interfere with the successful exchange of information from one person to another. CS technicians play an important role in their facility's communication process. They provide feedback, including ideas and suggestions to their supervisors, who in turn communicate information up and down the chain of command. Each person's role in this communication process is vital to success. See Figure 23.2. Definition: feedback. Feedback is a step in communication process that occurs when the listener asks a question, repeats the information, or otherwise helps the speaker to know if the message has been correctly received. Feedback is also defined as a method to respectfully share ideas and information on specific issues. Some employees think effective communication is easy. After all, people have been communicating their entire lives. In reality, the process is not difficult, but it does require use of basic principles. Improving communication can be as simple as developing some basic speaking and listening skills. Basic speaking skills. What follows are some principles that should be used when speaking with others. Identify the main points in the message. Organize what will be said and ensure that while speaking, each main point is addressed. Speak enthusiastically. Be committed to the purpose of the message and show interest and enthusiasm when speaking. Be able to support the information provided. If points are well documented, the listener can concentrate on what is said rather than questioning whether your statements are accurate. Stay focused. Do not ramble, digress, or discuss points that are not critical to your message. Concentrate on the listener. rather than on yourself. Remember that the main object of speaking is to communicate, not to make a good impression. Think about the listener's background and speak in a way that will help ensure that the message is accurately received. Use feedback methods such as asking open-ended questions. For example, why do you think this is a problem? Rather than, is this a problem? Use language that the listener will understand. And finally, be professional. Use appropriate language, tone, and volume. Basic listening skills. A good portion of each day is spent speaking and listening. Practice can help enhance good communication skills, and the results will benefit oneself, coworkers, and others. Some CS technicians spend more time speaking than listening. Basic techniques to improve listening include, do you want to keep going? Or do you want to stop?
Okay.
Yeah? Because you know what, I'll start with basic listening. I'm going to redo basic listening. Because I had a feeling I was getting close.